Hello, my name is Carmen Davenport from Black Dollar Indie, and you have tuned in to Get the Bag, Business, Assets, and Gains, where we talk to local businesses and organizations about their successes and some of their challenges. Today from Intend, Indiana, we have with us Devin Day, Director of Build Fund, and Ross Huggins, Business Development Specialist. How are you guys doing today?
Doing well. How are you today?
Good.
Thank you.
I'm really excited that you guys have come here to talk to the community about what you do. Before we get started, I always like to talk about the person behind the product or service. So, in a few words, tell me, who is Devin Day and who is Ross Huggins?
Devin Day, Director of Build Fund. I've been in 10 for almost 4 years now. Prior to that, I was working at the bank for 4 years, and I've had time with the city of Indianapolis and worked for a not-for-profit and a for-profit. So I've kind of seen things in a lot of different capacities and sat at different tables. I really like Intend Indiana because it gives you an opportunity to connect with people again. When I worked with the banking institution I was at, I always felt like two steps back. I was providing the funding to the organization that was touching the people,
Got you.
and it was just like I was missing that touch. Like I had to go through that financial institution, I had to go through that organization and go to that financial institution to get to the people. And I was like, I want to touch that. I want to directly work with the people, and so I took a leap of faith, and I was very comfortable with the bank. I thought I was going to retire from the bank. I thought I made it and was going to just end out my 20 years there. And then I got a call from a friend that was a coworker when I was at the city and told me about an opportunity at Intend. And I'll be honest, I told him no because I just
Really?
was like,
Okay.
I told him no. I told him no. I was like, just got my little cush job. I know what I'm doing. I've been here 4 years. I'm ready to retire. Got another call. It was the director of operations, and
Okay.
he was like, Devin, I see something in you. I think you enjoy it. I know your passion. Why don't you just come out and trust me? After a lot of prayer and thought, I went through it, and honestly, it's been one of the best decisions of my life.
Oh, wow.
Just being able to just really connect with people. I grew in the job. I was individual contributor, meaning that I didn't have a leader. I didn't have leadership. I didn't know any of that, and within 10, I was able to do that and be a people leader, and that's something I always wanted to do.
Mr. Huggins.
Yes, ma'am.
What about you? Who is Mr. Huggins?
Ross Huggins, Build Funds Business Development Specialist. I'm just an Indianapolis kid. I'm a kid from the East Side that kind of always was around or involved with entrepreneurship. Never really intended on working for anybody in life.
Okay.
I didn't think that was my role in life. Having kids and having a wife and having responsibilities, I've worked in banking or banking adjacent with like check cashing places. I worked for a large bank, and then I worked for the federal government for almost 14 years.
Oh, wow.
I worked
Okay.
with DOD and majority of the time with Social Security. And so between always being around or involved in entrepreneurship and then dealing with Social Security, that really I get to see how people retire and how it looks and how you should structure that. And then also seeing at the bank business and how finances work in that sense, kind of all putting it all together. I just feel like I have a lot to offer as an experience for businesses that need to start, grow, or actually get to the finish line. Um, I met Devin and Intend through a good friend of mine that I grew up with. He used to work for Intend that had moved on. He told me, he said, bro, they're looking for somebody to like kind of like take my space. I was like, all right, cool. Let me know about it. I met with Devin. Devin and I met for like, I don't know, it felt like for a long time.
Oh, wow.
It was
Okay.
for like-
Several weeks.
Oh, wow.
really,
Okay.
like, for a few months. And I met with our president and they felt like it was a good fit. I felt like it was a good fit. I've been praying and telling God that I don't really want to work for money anymore. I want to work for purpose.
Mm.
Um,
Okay.
and so then this happens, and it's like, okay, if this is what you want, like put me there. I don't care about the money. I just want to work in my purpose, whatever that may be.
And the rest of it'll come.
That's how that's how we linked, and that's how I got on with Intend, and then we just been building from there.
I love it. I love that. So now tell us, what is Intend Indiana? What exactly is that? What does that mean?
What we like to call ourselves is a comprehensive economic development nonprofit organization.
Okay.
So that's a lot of words, but basically we have four different functions, and
Mhm.
our initiatives operate in those functions. So our first function is what a lot of people in the Indianapolis area knew us as the land bank. So
Mm.
when I joined in 10, it was Renew Land Bank or Renew Indianapolis, and that was primarily known as the land bank around the city. But we did more than that.
Tell us what land bank is.
What
What
land bank
exactly
is.
does that mean?
Land banking is basically returning either vacant or abandoned properties back to good use.
Oh, nice.
So that could mean of taking a vacant lot, putting a single family home on it, or taking a commercial space and rehabbing that space and making a business out of it.
Wow.
So what the land bank team does is they work with communities, and those communities kind of have these vacant properties around. Like we've all seen vacant properties around,
Absolutely.
and try to determine a way to um, capture them all, and then a way for them to distribute them. So then you just don't have developers or people coming in, getting them, and then nothing happens, or they're not turning them to good use, or they're
Hmm.
buying the property and then sitting on it.
Okay.
So the whole purpose is that you do something with the property within a certain period of time, and if you don't, then it is released back, and then someone else has an opportunity
Okay.
to redevelop it.
So, what are some of the things that Intend Indy offers that gets them prepared for that? Yes. What kind of programs or opportunities do you provide for those people who are no, right? And we need to get you to yes. So, what are some of the things they can do to get to yes?
Well, we encounter a lot of businesses or startups and just like this great idea, and I just really want to like do something, like maybe take something, this hustle I might have had, and I want to like transition this into a business. That's not our specialty, but we work with other CDFIs around the city, and
Okay.
so that's their specialty. So what we'll do is we will refer them to those CDFIs that specialize with working with or with businesses that are startups.
Okay.
And so that's their space. But what we do with that is that we want to follow that person, right? Because they may only be with that startup CDFI for a couple of years. Then Bill Funk can come in and take you from there.
Why do you think it's important that people buy into supporting the community in general, especially in the industry that you're in? Why is that so important?
As the saying goes, like you're only as a chain is only as strong as its weakest link, right? So then, if you look at our community, it would be considered to a lot of people like the weakest link, right?
Mm.
Well, in order for you to understand the potential of growth for the entire country, you have to take that weakest link and figure out how strong you can make that, right? If
Mm.
you can make what is looked at as the weak link still a strength, then that just means that everything else is going to grow. The same way it trickles down, the money will go up, right? So then if we do what we're supposed to do and people buy into supporting us at Intend and
Mm-hmm.
supporting the small businesses um, that we support, then that just makes revenue for everybody else. Once you spent that money there, then they have to spend it with the bank or invest it in a bank, right? That bank now helps that community thrive, right? You know what I mean? And then once that community thrives, then that neighborhood thrives, right? Then that side of town, and then that city, then that state. If you don't start at the base or at the foundation or the weakest link, um, then you never really know how much you can grow.
You preaching in here today. I love it. So, what are some of the challenges that you find with community members? We know that finance, we talk about this all the time, is one of those things nobody wants to talk about, right?
Mhm.
So, what are some of the challenges that you've come up against just in any of your programs, right? What do you think your biggest and you both can answer because what may be the biggest to you may not be the same for you, but what are some of the biggest challenges that you think you've run into?
Unlearning.
Oh,
I think that for people that think that they know about a loan process and what loans are and how they're used, right? In our community, loans have been used against us, right? They've
mm-hmm,
been very predatory.
mm-hmm.
Residential loans, business loans, commercial lending, whatever. Like they've been used to our detriment. Um, that doesn't mean that the loan process is bad. It means that the person that used it against you was bad. And I think that getting businesses to understand like you can scale up quicker. It's more beneficial for you to at times, not all times, but at times it's more beneficial for you to take a loan to scale up quicker because you only have a window of success,
Yeah,
right? If you think you're going to grind it out into so that you don't want to borrow anything and you're going to do it with all your money, well, like God bless you, right? But you're going to miss that window of potential that you had, right? Where if you got with somebody like a CDFI, specifically Build Fund with Intent Indiana, who weren't giving you a predatory loan and weren't just giving you a loan where it's like just giving you money and then you go figure it out what to do with it from
yes,
there. But we lend you money and then you have me, you have Devin, you have our partner Ashley, who are like steady working with you through the process of getting the loan and then post loan, hey, what can we do to make this a success? How can we help you grow? What do you need for management of the business? Do you need help with marketing? We have somebody for that. Do you need help with your profit and loss statements and your balance sheet and your taxes?
mm-hmm.
We have an accountant for that. Um, do you need help finding a commercial space? We have someone for that. Like, what is it that you need? It's not just throwing money at you and letting you figure it out for yourself.
Are you ready for food, fun, music, and networking? Well, Edna Martin Christian Center is hosting its 2025 Entrepreneurship Showcase, May 17th from 11 to 4 at the Frederick Douglass Park Family Center, 1616 East 25th Street. It is free, absolutely free to the community, and multiple vendors will be selling products and services. Again, that's May 17th from 11 to 4 at the Frederick Douglass Park Family Center. This event is sponsored by IAAQLI. And I think that in the grand scheme of things in our community, many times we don't feel safe, right? We don't feel that our information is safe. We don't feel that our ideas are safe. We don't feel safe. And what I hear, in addition to unlearning, is safety. And I think that's very important. I feel safe, right? I want to come see you tomorrow.
We'll be there. But we spend a lot of time, and that's part of what we do with our staff is to really get to know our borrowers or get to know the people, not the borrower, the people. Like, who are you? And we spend a lot of time, even in the application stage of just knowing who you are as a person first, and then what is your business? Because going into underwriting is part of another person's job, it's part of my job, but I want to tell this story when I'm convincing these bankers and other business owners like this business got it together. This business, this is who they are. They're passionate. They're going to make this. This is what they're going to do. And so I can speak to that from a personal perspective because I've seen it.
Right.
Really
How important
aftercare.
is aftercare, right?
Yeah.
Because a lot of times people, when you talk about trauma, they experience getting where they need to be and then being left,
Yeah.
right? Now, what do I do? I've got the loan. What do I do with it now? Right. So that aftercare piece, the safety, the aftercare, the unlearning is everything that I think our community needs.
Yeah, and so that's another big thing that we talk about is we want to hear when it's not going well either.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big part of it, right? And so we have conversations, or we'll be having conversations with some people with businesses that just say like, look, you missed your loan payment. That's not good, but we're not throwing you away yet.
I
We're
like
not
that.
gonna just toss you out to the wayside. We're not gonna just sue you.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know why you missed your payment.
Right.
Talk to me about that. Like I need to know because when we did this underwriting, we took you through this stage, we understood it, like you said you understood it. We put some resources around you, but you still missed your payment. That's and so I want to be able to talk to you about that, and I want to be able to like you can't like look, man, like I was stressed out and I just forgot. Like
Yeah.
I get it. So what can we do so that you don't forget next time?
Got you.
Because this is very important.
For those who may not, like they're just getting to know about Indiana today, right? What are some of the marketing strategies? How do you connect? How do you tend to connect with the community? How do people get to know about your programs and services?
One thing that we do, specifically Build Fund, I would say all of Intend, but specifically Build Fund is we try to walk it like we talk it, right?
Mm.
Really supporting small businesses, even if they're not in our pipeline. So when we go to lunch, we're not going to fast food chain such and
Gotcha.
such, right? We're going to a small business owner
I like
that
that.
has a restaurant. When we have different sessions or our cohort, which I'm sure we'll speak about later, we're catered by small business owners, right? Like, so the one thing that we consistently do is make sure that we are intentional about how we come across to the community. We go to the small businesses. We support Martindale Brightwood and whatever they're throwing, and we're at these different sessions and locations where we can speak about what we do. But all the time, it's not just what we do. We're there also to support others in what they're doing. So
Absolutely.
just the intentionality that we have as a group at Build Fund, just making sure that we're out in the community, meeting people, even if they're not somebody that's going to be in our pipeline, still supporting and being intentional about the message that we're spreading.
Okay, just showing up. I like that. Being there, showing up. Best marketing strategy you could have.
Yes.
So now we want to talk about any events, programs, cohorts, initiatives that you have coming up that you want people to know about.
We currently have the Build Fund cohort going on right now. We just started that. That was a program that we as a team built together.
Oh wow.
Ashley, Devin, and myself. We decided that in order to make sure that we're getting to the people that are ready for us, it's not just the people that need us or the people that want us, but also most importantly the people that are ready for us. We need to make sure that we're available to them. So just making sure that we have a pipeline coming through of people that are ready, and then for the ones that aren't, this cohort is literally to get them ready, right? So then you're meeting with us, and you're talking with me as I'm getting you prepared for everything to pass you along to Ashley, who's going to be doing all of the loan process and the underwriting, and then going through that and coming back to me. But not just that, as I said earlier, we have somebody that you're going to be meeting with that's going to show you how to do your financial statements. We have somebody that's going to talk to you about marketing. We have somebody that's going to talk to you about how to structure your business legally.
Okay. And how long is the cohort?
It'll be 5 months.
5 months?
Yes.
Okay. And how often do you meet?
Monthly.
Monthly?
Yes.
Okay.
So we meet as a group monthly. You'll be speaking with me much more than monthly.
Okay.
And then if you need to speak with any of our professional coaches, the people that are doing the marketing, the acquisitions, and financial statements, then you'll be able to arrange something to be with them on a one-on-one basis. We also have bank partners that will be presenting as well, and those bank partners will be going in one to meet the people that they hopefully will be seeing on the graduation side.
Okay.
But then two, to help with the financial literacy piece.
When is the next cohort? Do we know yet when the next one is coming up? And is it too late to get into this one?
So for this one, we were a little intentional about starting off small because we
Okay.
wanted to get it right. And
Okay.
so we have within the group, and to get into the cohort, we should say is you kind of have to have a couple. You had to have a certain loan request.
Okay.
So you're either looking for commercial acquisition, or rehabbing a commercial space, or looking for equipment, or you're a contractor,
Okay.
or a developer who wants to develop homes. And so those are kind of the threshold to get you in. And then what do we do? So we're looking. This cohort will stop classes in May.
Okay.
But the intention is that this group will be ready to submit their applications in May.
Okay.
And so then they'll be moved on. Now some of them are a lot further than others. So some may get to the point in April, and so but they'll finish the class and be done and go work with our portfolio manager who does all the closings and all of that.
Okay. And the last question that I have for you guys is we ask everybody, what's in your bag? So, what do you think is your biggest success or gain thus far?
I really feel like I support, and that's one of the things that I do. I really want to be an asset to the team and also for the business. So I'm always on the lookout for sponsorship opportunities, even with the businesses. If there's a grant that I can find for you, or if there is like another service that I can provide that I'm like, okay, Ross, you need to like connect this person to that. Like that's part of so that
Okay.
resource person
Okay.
is really what I like to do and really provide assets to the businesses and not just to the businesses but to the staff because I know that I'm working with very passionate individuals and so I have to support those individuals and I have to put things into them so that they can put things into the
Right.
businesses so they can do things and so I'm always looking for ways to increase knowledge or increase resources for staff but also for the businesses and so just kind of being that resource person, connector.
Okay. Okay. And what do you think your biggest asset or gain is thus far?
My biggest asset, honestly, is personally is my team. Having such a supportive and helpful director, it makes a difference.
Okay.
I've worked in situations where they don't necessarily want to see you grow because they don't want to see you outgrow them. Devin is not like that. Devin is inviting me to everything he's invited to.
Wow. Thank you for that. This has been such an enlightening conversation. I've learned so much today, and I hope that you guys out there have learned as much as I have. And we're going to, one more time, tell them how to get connected to Intend Indy or Build Fund.
Website, buildfund.org or intendindiana.org. Those are the best ways to reach us, but we're also on social media as well. So we try to post once, at least we post frequently, so you'll see us. So at social events or promoting a business or just highlighting something about either a small business or affordable housing, or economic development. We care about it all. We just want to impact the community in a positive way, and so that's our job. That's what we're charged to do. And so I think everyone on the team in Intend has that passion in some sort. We just maybe operate in different ways. We all have different functions, but at the end of the day, we all want.
Thank you guys so much for stopping by.
Thank you.
Really enjoyed the conversation. And thank you for tuning in. This is Carmen Davenport again from Black Dollar Indy. And this was Get the Bag, Business Assets and Gains, where success is in your bag.